Good evening. I'm here to introduce our speaker. Chris Reynolds served in the position of Senior Associate Athletics Director at Indiana University and also served the university as an adjunct professor. Reynolds is a sports administrator for men's basketball and multiple Olympic sports. Serves as the department's liaison to the university legal counsel office, works on a variety of contractual issues, coordinates public records requests, and provides oversight of the department's diversity plan. He returned to Indiana University after 3 years as an assistant athletic director at the University of Notre Dame. A 1993 Indiana University graduate who also earned his Juris Doctorate from IU in 1996. Reynolds was a four-year letter winner in basketball for the Hoosiers. During Reynolds' playing career, Indiana won at least a share of 2 Big Ten titles, advanced to the 1992 NCAA Final Four and the 1993 NCAA Elite Eight. In 1993, Reynolds was named to the academic All-Big Ten team. In addition to working in a senior role as athletic administrator, Reynolds is completing his PhD in sports management at Indiana University. A native of Peoria, Illinois, he is married to the former Katrina Cazares, and they have a 7-year-old son, Joshua, and a 4-year-old daughter, Olivia. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Reynolds.
Graduates a round of applause. Ceremony as somebody like myself is giving the address, and I would think back to my childhood and think back to all the things I had to experience, and I would say to myself that folks don't realize all the struggles, all the strains, all the difficulties, and I would say to myself, I'm glad I don't look like what I've been through. Because sometimes you go through things you don't realize or understand why you go through those things, but it's amazing when you can come to an event like this, when you finally reach the finish line. And what I've learned to do, and the reason why I asked them to stand up and give a round of applause with us all, because sometimes you got to learn how to pat yourself on the back. Sometimes you have to be able to stand up and applaud yourself, give yourself a hand praise, and do those sorts of things. Sometimes you can't wait for other people to do that, because a lot of times when you go through those victories in life, whether it be big or small, you always got to recognize the victories you have in your life. I tell students all the time, don't wait for somebody else to congratulate you. Go to Kroger, buy yourself a cake, have yourself your own party, all by yourself. Sometimes you have to do that. I'm glad we're all here to be able to share with them. It's good to always have family here, but I'm always mindful that one or two that don't have their family here. For whatever reason, maybe it was the weather, maybe it was another appointment, whatever the reason may have been, they couldn't be here. And so to to that person, I say, after this is over, you go back and you celebrate all by yourself if you have to, but this is an event worth celebrating. Let's give them another round of applause. And I'm going to be very brief, but I was just thinking to myself, I graduated from undergraduate school here about 17 years ago, and then about 14 years ago, I graduated with a law degree, and I was thinking to myself, back then, what would I have wanted to hear if I was sitting in the shoes of these graduates? Just a few words of wisdom that would help me through life. And so I just jotted down a couple of things I'm going to share with the graduates here tonight. The first thing is this: as it relates to fear and limitations, always keep in mind that these things are just illusions. And I think a lot of times, as students and even older people, when they go through different things, you just think back over some things that you just worried about, spent months worrying about, and then realize that you were just worrying about nothing. And a lot of times, these things are just illusionary things we just kind of conjure up in our own minds, and we just can't allow these things to paralyze us and hold us back. Many times you have to just think about all the struggles you've been through, and you know what, in the end, it always kind of works out. And so we should always keep that in mind as we move forward, graduates as well, just in terms of the accomplishments that you seek to obtain and the things you aspire to become. Don't allow the fears, the limitations that people put on you keep you from moving forward. We always have to keep moving, and we always have to keep aiming high. But I know fear sometimes has a way of just grabbing a hold of you and keeping you from your God-given purpose. So we have to continue to press on to be what we need to be for ourselves and what we can be for other people. The second thing is this, that I want to leave with you guys, just in terms of you being the person that you're destined to become. In addition to not allowing your limitations and fears to paralyze you, in terms of being successful and accomplishing the things that you have in mind to accomplish, we got to make sure that we surround ourselves with the right people. You have to make sure you keep the right people on the bus. When I was growing up, I remember on BET, I would catch it every now and then, and there was always this thing that would come on, I'd never forget. It said, large minds talk about ideas, average minds talk about events, and small minds talk about people. And we have to keep that in mind just in terms as we go through our journey to make sure that we're surrounding ourselves with the right kind of people, because these people evidently and obviously will have an influence on us, and we have to make sure that those people that have the influence on us are going to be people that will encourage us and inspire us to really maximize the potential that we have as young people. Just in terms of that, in terms of surrounding ourselves with the right people, I think to myself many times that, as young people, as older people, wherever you are in your station of life, that, some people, they come into our life for a moment. You might be driving down the highway, you go into the gas station, you see somebody there, you won't see that person for the rest of your life. Some people come into our life for a season, and then some people are in our lives for a lifetime. And it's important in terms of who we surround ourselves with as we move forward, that we make sure we can begin to discern those people that are lifetime people and those people that are just seasonal. Because what happens is sometimes you think back, graduates, to when you were in high school. And this is not about you thinking you better than anybody, but when you went to college, everybody would come along. And the people you hung out with in high school, you didn't hang out with them in college because you were trying to go to another level, another place. And you can't take everybody to the mountaintop. Everybody can't go. Everybody don't want to go. And a lot of people don't want to make the sacrifice to get there. And a lot of times, in us trying to help everybody get to the mountaintop, we allow them to pull us down. And we got to make sure that we surround ourselves with the right kind of people to help us to get there, so that when we do get there, then we can reach down and do everything we can to help everybody to come up. But you got to get there first. And so make sure you're surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. It's very vital and critical that we do that. You can think back to people even that you were in school with the past couple years that were just a drain on you. Some folks you see their call coming in on your cell phone, and you don't even want to pick up the call. Some folks you'll be on the phone with them and they just a drain. When you hang up the phone, you feel like you just had a workout. You're just tired. Some folks just wear you out. And so you want to to be around people that will encourage you, people that will inspire you, people that will, when you go through those difficult moments, that will pick you up. Because sometimes you feel like you're the one that's always picking up everybody else. But we always need somebody that can give us an encouraging word and pick us up as well. And so after we have mastered not allowing our fears and limitations to keep us in check and paralyzed, and after we surround ourselves with the right kind of people, the last thing I'll leave with you is that we always got to give it one final push. One final push. And I spoke this to some of our students this past Sunday morning, just in terms of giving that final push. Because, amen, for the degrees, the talents, and the gifts, and the support, but even with those things, if we don't give it one final push, we won't continue to achieve and accomplish the things that we have our mind and heart set on. And so what am I talking about when I talk about giving it one final push? I've been married for about 12 years, and we have 2 children, Joshua and Olivia. And I remember Olivia, she's 4 years old, and I remember when we found out that my wife, Katrina, was pregnant through, as I reflect back on that, because after the 6-week period, and some of the mothers here know what I'm talking about, when you're 6 weeks pregnant, your stomach is still low. You're still down, you don't look like you're pregnant. And so 6 weeks in, we found out Katrina was pregnant. But then as the months went on, the stomach started to protrude. As the months went on, the ankles started to swell up. As the months went on, the emotions and the hormones and attitudes and all these things just started to manifest themselves. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's just part of being pregnant. And so 9 months in, she's just like, I just can't wait to have this baby. And I was thinking the same thing. And so I can remember the day that Olivia was about to come into the world. And so Katrina was in the next room, and I heard all this heavy breathing. I didn't know if I was dreaming or what, but I heard the heavy breathing, and so I knew what to do. I went to Lamont's class, amen? Lamont's class, so I knew exactly what to do. So I grabbed the overnight clothes, and so we grabbed Katrina, and we rushed off to the hospital. I'm driving like a madman. I'm going like 1,000 miles per hour. Driving like a crazy man. Finally get to the hospital, long story short, we go into the hospital room, and the doctors, they knew exactly what to do. Nurses were in the hospital room, and so the nurses are hooking Katrina up with all these wires, and you could actually see the baby. They had this little machine. You could actually see the baby inside of her. They were checking her pulse, her vital signs, and all these sorts of things, and mothers have what are called contractions. I learned about that. And so they were doing his thing, the nurses were doing their thing, and I was standing there. I was smart enough to know to not say anything. I'm just real quiet. And so the baby's about to come out. And so you can see the head of Olivia, and as the doctors and the nurses, we were there for a couple hours. They were telling her, breathe. Remember what you were taught? Breathe. Keep pushing, keep pushing. And then the doctor finally said, one final push. And as she gave that final push, she was able to conjure up strength she didn't think she had. And I was thinking back to myself, 9 months of waiting on this baby to come into this earth. But it took one final push for that baby to eventually come out. And so I was thinking about that as it relates to my journey, and maybe the graduates can relate to this in terms of their journey. Because when you're in school, you don't have something called senioritis, you have semesteritis. And the graduate style of just giving it one final push. And so I want to congratulate the graduates here. I want to say keep doing what you're doing, but know that this is only a phase in your life. This is only a small blip on the screen, because you got a lot of years to live, hopefully. You got a lot of accomplishments and dreams that you aspire, that you want to see come to pass in your life. But as you go through the journey, just keep pushing, keep pressing, and keep on believing. God bless you.